First,
Okay, we're recording.
very good.
It interrupted you. Go ahead.
Well, I want to thank you. You've given me some personalized treatment by sending me the agendas and updates, and I want to thank you for doing that.
Just doing my job, Tom.
Okay, well, you're doing your job well,
Thank you.
and thanks.
I'm glad this is being recorded.
Yes, yes.
I'll have to play that back.
Well, that was the main reason I wanted
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
to record. Actually, though, I have another question. Who are what is this address, Wendell Town Folk? What is that about?
Oh, that's the town chat list. We post our agendas to the town chat list so anyone in town can join us for the meeting
Um,
because it is a public meeting.
Yeah, does that satisfy the public posting thing?
Oh no, I have to post it on the town hall bulletin board.
Okay. Is it possible so that I could get a list of who that is, so I can
Oh no,
know
that's
who's,
no, I can't control that.
you don't know or you don't have a list? You just hit the button and off it goes?
Yeah, it's a group of town people who choose to be able to communicate with one another about local issues like road closures and missing dogs, things like that. I don't know who's on it.
Okay,
It's not my baby.
all righty. And uh, I saw a note from Mr. Stinson. Well, first off, I have kind of a general question. How did I get on this agenda? Because I don't really know what I'm supposed to be doing tonight.
Well, you sent us the letter or the email saying you were planning a drawdown. And Mr. Stinson, when we asked him if you had to apply through the Conservation Commission, he said yes. And he offered to speak with you, and then he said that he hadn't heard back from you, but that's after I'd put you on the agenda.
Okay, well, we'll see how it goes.
Mm-hmm.
And you've been in Concom for a long time, haven't you?
Since 2009, yeah, so 14 years.
My, that's a marathon.
Okay, people are starting to show up, I have to admit them.
All right. I'm going to turn my mic off.
It makes sense. Hi, Michael.
Yes. Hello, everybody.
Hello? Rowan? Yeah.
Yes, I'm
Okay.
here.
And here's Trevor. Ward was here a minute ago. I don't know what happened to him. Here he is again. Okay.
I'm here. I'm just running to grab a charger.
Hello,
Hi, Ward.
I'm having trouble with my regular computer, so I'm on my cell phone.
Oh, great.
I just can't turn it on. So I'll keep trying.
I was getting a very weak signal on the internet earlier.
It's not the internet, it's just turning the damn thing on. It won't turn on.
Hmm.
Like, I don't know how hard that can be.
Well, can you see your
Please,
screen,
my
Ward?
old
We have a quorum.
Okay, well, I'm here.
Me as well.
Rowan's here, Trevor's here, Tom Robinson is here, and his wife, Mary Robinson.
Great.
Michael Idowin is here, Linda Deegan, and Mark Stinson.
Okay, well, I apologize to everyone. I'm on my handheld cell phone because for some reason I can't access my regular computer. But
Mr. Robinson has requested that the meeting be recorded,
okay,
so it is now being recorded.
that's fine.
Hi, Mark.
Hi there, long time.
Yep. Okay.
So we ready?
Yes, we're ready.
Okay, so I'd like to open the regularly scheduled meeting of the Wendell Conservation Commission, Tuesday, August 8th. First on the agenda is Bowen's Pond drawdown for dam inspection. Tom Robinson. Tom,
Good evening. And
Good evening.
thank you for inviting me. We'll see how it goes.
no, I thank you for coming. I appreciate you coming.
Well, I've attended a couple videos of Concom meetings in the past, so
Yes,
we've kind of met, but we've never met face to face.
yep,
Good evening, and I didn't prepare any comments or anything. I did write a letter back there in July,
yep,
and
Yep.
it might be helpful if I just read it. It's only three paragraphs.
that would be fine.
July 12th, 23, to the Concom, subject Bowen's Pond. This summer, we intend to draw down the water level of Bowen's Pond for the purposes of inspection and evaluation of the dam condition. The purpose of this letter is to comply with a law, 10096, which requires notification to be provided at least 21 days before a controlled drawdown. Our family's been raising and lowering the water level of this pond by splashboards and other means for many years since the beginning of our ownership in the mid-50s, and have continuously exercised these rights. And I guess that sentence is not very good, but need not file for permission to do so for a basic activity or inspection. We wish to act in the interest of public safety, and will continue to be proactive regarding this dam. The condition of the dam and the low water release valve is of interest. Also, in the low water level state, the pond side of the dam, presently underwater, will be inspected. Thanks for your consideration in this matter. My contact information is listed below. So that's what I think aroused everyone's interest.
Yes. And then Mark Stinson, Mark can speak for himself if he would like to. Would you like to speak, Mark? Or
Well, I don't know where the statutory authority allows that activity to take place without permitting under the Wetlands Protection Act. I mean, there's literally hundreds, if not thousands, of dams in the Commonwealth that were created prior to the Wetlands Protection Act, that when drawdowns occur or activities occur on the dam, they're still fully subject to the act and the regulations. So just because something has been done without a permit up till now doesn't mean it shouldn't have gotten permits through the Conservation Commission, through the Wetlands Protection Act for that activity.
Okay, so Mark's response was forwarded to you, wasn't it, Tom?
Yes.
And then I, as chair, not acting on behalf of the entire commission because we didn't discuss this at an open meeting. I wrote to you, Mr. Robinson, the DEP has opined that a notice of intent is required. My opinion is that the simpler request for determination of applicability would be appropriate since the proposed work should not, quote, alter the pond. There is a lot of controversy surrounding the pond, and I believe that doing things, quote, by the book is appropriate. Ward W. Smith, Chair, Wendell Conservation Commission. So I think Mark and I are kind of in agreement. Mark was saying in his email that a notice of intent, which is more complicated form requiring a butter notification. I'm saying that maybe the simpler form would be appropriate, just so everything's out in the public and people can comment on it and the commission can decide whether or not it's an alteration.
Well, if I could build what might be called a decision tree, I'm sitting here at a level of water, and what amount of level change triggers any of these responses?
Well, by definition, if you look at the definition of alter, the lowering of the water level is considered an alteration, an activity. However, Ward also has a good point. Potentially a request for determination could be submitted in lieu of a notice of intent. Let the commission decide whether what's called a -2 determination would be appropriate or whether a notice of intent is appropriate. I mean, at least a request for determination, I think, would be satisfactory in the meantime.
I appreciate that, but what my question is how much does the level have to change?
The regulations don't say. All it says is the lowering of the water level.
Yeah, I think the raising or low, I think the exact quote, I don't want to say exact quote, it's raising or lowering water levels is, I think is considered an alteration.
But the commission could consider that a de minimis activity. If it's only for a day or two, whatever, for the proposed work, which is totally at the discretion of the commission.
And I think, Tom, we're going to get, when you lower that water level, we're going to get a bunch of phone calls. I'm just of the opinion that we should do everything by the book. And, again, I'm only one vote of the commission, but I don't see any reason why we couldn't issue a negative determination if it is going to be, as you say, temporary lowering of the water level, and it's done at an appropriate time of the year that's not going to impact, overwintering aquatic organisms. I personally don't have a problem with it. But I think if you just go ahead and lower that water level, we're going to get phone calls. Probably Mark's going to get a phone call. And I don't think that's a good thing.
I agree. You guys should live in a no surprises world. And that's why I sent the letter.
And I appreciate you sending the letter. I have no problem with that. I'm just suggesting that you fill out WPA Form 1, which is a relatively simple form, does not require a butter notification. There's no filing fee, with just a simple letter stating, your time frame and your purpose, which you've already said, how long the water level is going to be drawn down for, and that. And I again, I can't say what we'll do. I would be more inclined to vote a negative, issue a negative determination saying it will not alter. And then we have, things are all done legally.
And also that during the refill, that the flow rate is still gonna happen. It's not shut off entirely,
Right, from the downstream waterway.
right?
Well, couple comments. When I'm asking questions tonight, I'm not asking them to form an argument. I'm asking them to really understand.
You can ask all the questions you want as far as I'm concerned, Tom. I don't have any problem with your questions.
Okay, well, let me give you an example. Debris flows over to the dam and accumulates, especially in these big storms.
Sure.
And sometimes the one piece of debris, as we might call it, is a piece of log about 10 feet long and 15 inches in diameter with roots on the end of it. And if that goes across the spillway, then the level goes up.
Yeah.
And I will remove that log. And so it doesn't go, over the dam and downstream. I'll remove that log, tie a rope on it, and pull it out of the way. And then overnight or the next day or two, the level goes back down.
Right.
Is that a fileable thing?
Mark can opine on that. My opinion would be no. You're just maintaining existing conditions, existing flow rate.
That's one way to look at it.
Well, I don't want to be so,
I don't want to be either, but my job is strictly to
I understand,
focus
Mark.
on what the regulations are.
I understand. But if every time somebody has to file for clearing debris out of off of the culvert entrance, it would not be a good thing.
Right, but there's also the permitting pathway if it's an ongoing occurrence. I'm not, commissions and DEP have discretion when it comes to enforcement. So is this rise to the level of enforcement? No. But lowering a body of water with no permit potentially would rise to the level of enforcement, which we don't
Yes.
want to happen. We don't.
Yes.
Nobody wants to take enforcement action.
Right.
But yet I could be subject to it if you guys are no longer involved in this and some other people come in and they say, "What are you doing, Tom? You just lowered the water level. Here's a fine."
Well, the Conservation Commission can't fine you. The DEP can. So just so you know, if we were to issue an enforcement order and you did not comply with it, we could not fine you. We would refer it to the DEP, and the DEP could fine you.
Well, that's not much less painful.
No, it's not any less painful. Just
I mean, all we want to do is get you into the permitting pathway, not bust your chops. That's it.
yeah, and I think, again, Mark and I may have a slight disagreement on whether or not cleaning debris and logs from the spillway requires a filing. That's a whole nother thing we could get into. We could get into a maintenance permit, long-term maintenance permit for the dam maybe would be appropriate. But I think what we're talking about right now is your proposal to lower the water level to inspect the dam soon.
Yes.
Which I think both Mark and I are in agreement should trigger some kind of a filing with the Conservation Commission. That's all I'm saying.
I agree.
Okay, well, let me do a little history lesson here real quick. Back in the 50s, this dam was in not as good a condition. Well, it's probably a little better condition than it is now, but we did a repair on it and fixed up something that was reported in the 40s. And well, let me finish my little story, please.
I'm listening. I'm just trying to I'm going to unplug my computer and see if I can reboot it. Keep talking.
Okay. The dam used to be annually inspected by what I think was the Department of Public Works. And they hired probably Mr. Ty of the Ty and Bond fame to go around and look at all the dams and write a little mini report every year. And I have all these old reports, and my father would receive them. And these reports would say, you can put the boards on, the flash boards on in the spring, but you have to take them off in the fall because there's the danger of ice forces.
Mhm.
Well, to raise the level when we're up there for the summer, we'd put the boards on, take them off every year for 50 years.
Yeah.
That jumps the level 2 feet up and 2 feet back down.
I don't disagree with you that you've been doing that. I think what I'm suggesting is that we try to find a middle path here. Other than
Okay.
no permits or a more complicated notice of intent, we do a simpler filing.
I understand that. I'm just telling you a story. I mean,
Okay.
I live,
Wetlands Protection Act was not there in the 50s. The regulations were not in place.
okay, so let's move up to 2009 or 2006. Fuss and O'Neill go around and inspect all the dams and figure out jurisdiction. And they write us a letter saying you are within the jurisdiction of the Office of Dam Safety for various criteria. And they say you got to have your dam inspected. So we do. And the inspection report comes back and says, you really ought to cut down these trees and clean this place up so that the roots don't go into the concrete, a common dam problem. And so I come to the Conservation Commission in Wendell, and I talked to Charles and Melissa Grader, is it?
Yes.
And some others. And I'm willing to bet Mary might have been there at that time. But they recommend I put in a Form 1, I think.
Yep.
And Charles writes me a letter and says, removal of the debris is regular old maintenance, but cutting down the trees and bringing in a piece of equipment to lift the trees out will require, or we have determined that the Wetlands Protection Act is applicable to that,
Mhm.
whereas it was not applicable to removing debris. Now, this
I
is
mean, that's essentially what I'm saying.
just let me tell my story. I'll be
Okay.
done in a minute.
Yep.
Where was I? Oh, yes. So Charles says, yeah, removing debris is regular old maintenance. So we've been doing that for another, 13 more years. We take the debris off. We don't do any filings. And we haven't had a need to do any Form 1 filings because we haven't gone in and done any work. We don't do any repairs, maintenance, or alteration of the structure. When you read the law, those 3 words are often at the front of the paragraph that say, you know, if you're going to do a repair, you're going to do maintenance, or you're going to alter the structure, you got to do the various forms. All I want to do is look at it with my eyeballs. I'm not going in there with any equipment or anything, but I do want to be safe. Public safety is one thing, and that's a high priority, but my personal safety is even higher priority. So if I'm looking at this dam from the high side, I run the risk of stepping in a hole or stepping in a washed out area or even a kind of a subterranean cave where you can get caught in a hole. Or if I'm looking at the dam from the downside, I'm looking at a cascade of water and I can't see the dam. I can't see the rocks, the structure. So I'd like to stop the water so I can see, and also stop the water so that I can walk around on the dam side and not be in danger of hurting myself. And that's the goal. Bring the water down some level to where the water stops. Now I can do that by lowering it about 2 inches. All I got to do is get below the concrete lip. Or if I want to expose pond bottom, I have to pull it down, a couple feet. So I have like a 4-foot walkway. So in 2015, I come back to the Conservation Commission and I say, I'm going to pull down the water level to do an inspection. And they say, okay, no filing. And I have all the documentation and all that stuff. But it was just something to do when I pull it down. The only thing they said to me, and I agree with it completely, is to return the water level up before the critters have to get into the mud. Reestablish the water level to what would be normal. And that's what we did. Pulled it down with a siphon. There was no gasoline. There's no noise. There's no engines running. Pull it down, let it come back up in the rain. We did it all in about 2 weeks, and it was work. We got it done, and it was all done in the auspices of the Conservation Commission.
Did the commission actually issue a document to you?
Well, I issued several documents to them.
Did they issue a Form 2 or an order of conditions to you?
No,
Okay, so they violated state law at the time as well. There's nothing in the regulations that allows a commission to give verbal approval. So just because the commission gave you verbal approval does not make it legal. I'm not saying DEP is going to take any action. We don't want to take action. We just want to get you into the permitting process. So all these drawdowns, all these raising of the water levels, they all required permitting since 1973.
all right, here's
So
another one.
because it hasn't happened doesn't mean we're going to do anything. Let's look into the future, not the past.
Well, let's not go too far past. Let's go last week or week before last. This dam is undersized. And when it's a large rainstorm, I have photographic evidence of this dam overtopping, which is the water is up 2 feet.
So the process is you go to the Conservation Commission for an emergency permit. There's
Well, I can't-
processes for everything you do with that dam now. You just can't do things on your own. You need to touch base with the Conservation Commission.
No, I'm sorry, I'm not explaining myself well. Big storm comes, water goes up 2 feet. Wait a couple days, water goes back down 2 feet.
Right, and that's an act of God. It's not anything manipulated by a person.
Well, okay. So that's my little story. And I just thought I'd fill you in on the background so that we have a common understanding of where I've been historically. And I really don't want to get into the situation where every time I remove debris or something happens with the water level, I have to file. Because from my point of view, failure to file exposes me to some kind of, I don't know what to call it, punishment, fines, I don't know. And I don't want to go in that world. So I'm kind of in a rock and a hard place here.
I don't think so. I think the only question tonight is filing for the drawdown you need to do for the inspection, right?
Well, the consequences of that can be that an NOI is required. And then I get a $500 filing fee. I get an engineer hired to inspect my plan. I get engineer hired to observe the water reduction flow rates or something. And I end up spending $5,000-6,000 for something that I did for free 5 years ago.
Well, what's the cost of the potential fine going to be when after we've had this conversation about the necessity for filing? If we get a complaint and it's turned out you lowered it, I think DEP is going to investigate. So the simplest, cheapest thing right now is just to file a request for determination. I think the commission will be open to your suggestions or whatever. Your thoughts on the process.
Well, I just thought I'd tell my story, and thank you very much for listening. Thank you for your patience.
No, I appreciate you coming, Tom. I've already said what I think. I mean, I haven't seen your proposal, so obviously I can't give you 100% definitive answer on how I would vote. But I think I've made it clear that I think if you're lowering the water levels for an inspection of the dam, that I personally would be willing to vote to issue a negative determination, although that is up to all the members of the commission. There's always a risk they could vote to require you to file a notice of intent. But I think, as Mark said, the easiest way to go is to go that way. Because right now, like I said, if you lower that water level without a permit, I'm going to get a phone call. Mary's going to get a phone call, and we're going to have to do something about it. I don't want to have to do something about it. I'd much rather have a filing before us and follow the permit process.
I understand that, and I appreciate it.
You know, we've got a lot of riled up abutters, as you know.
Well, this has nothing to do with the other project.
Oh, I understand that, but because of the other potential, we don't have another project yet, but the other potential project, because of the other potential project, some of the abutters are kind of on a heightened alert over there. So when they see the water level down, we're going to get a phone call. I mean, maybe we won't, but I'd be shocked if we don't get a phone call.
Well, we didn't get any phone calls in 2015 that I'm aware of.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I can appreciate the, I think you used the word controversy.
Yes.
There's nothing in my letter, as far as I'm concerned, nothing in my letter that was controversial.
No, I'm not. No, I'm talking about the other potential project.
All right. Well,
I didn't find anything in your letter controversial at all, as far other than the fact that you may or may not be subject to the Wetlands Protection Act, I guess would be my only comment on that.
okay. When I submit a request for determination,
Yes.
you mentioned, you'll read something. What is
Yes.
what is the content that I have to express? I mean, basically what I'm going to do. I described it quickly here.
Yes.
What do I have to do besides describe that?
Nothing. You have to fill out the form. You have to send a copy to Mark Stinson at the DEP. And you would have to pay the advertising fee, which Mary can probably tell you how much that would be, but there's no filing fee for it. Because we would have to publish a notice in the paper, and then we'd have a public meeting on it where anyone could speak. But basically just a cover letter saying what you want to do, your time frame, and that's it. It doesn't have to be too extensive. And we would issue a determination, either a positive determination saying that you need to file a notice of intent, or a negative determination saying that we don't think the work will alter the wetlands, but potentially with some conditions. We might have some conditions on the time frame or the time of year. I don't know. I'm just speculating.
All right. The other thing I heard Mark mention, if I could speak for him,
Yeah.
was that the flow has to be in some way maintained. Very often in the month of August, when the natural rain flow is low,
Yep.
this dam has no flow over its spillway.
Right. It's groundwater discharge down below the dam.
Well, there's a leaky valve.
But we can
You see it-
discuss all of that at the public meeting. You know, I'd just like to establish that it would be good if you would file with us. That's all. That's what I'd like to get accomplished at this
Okay.
meeting.
Well, I'm with you, Ward. I will file. And
Okay.
I appreciate your input and yours, Mark. Thank you very much. And I'll do my best at filling out the form and moving this along.
And call, you know, if you have any questions, call Mary or me, and we'd be happy to help you.
Super. Thank you very, very much.
Okay, thanks. Any more discussion on this item? Mark?
None? Nope.
Okay. Commission members, any discussion? Okay, next on the agenda, mailing address is needed for MACC membership.
Yeah, I'm still holding on to this form that I'm supposed to send in with our payment for membership in the Massachusetts Conservation Commission. MACC, Association of Conservation Commission Members. So Rowan, I need your mailing address. That's all I need.
All right. It is 140 Lock Hill Road.
Okay.
All right, if you guys don't need me anymore, I want to split.
Okay, Mark, thank you. Appreciate your input.
All right. Good night, folks. Thanks. Good
Good night, Mark.
Good seeing you. You too, Mary.
Okay. Hello?
Oh, yes.
Okay,
Okay, I got the address I needed. And just give me your phone number here. So I know I have it, but I could write it down more easily if you just give it to me now. Rowan?
Mine? Yep. 413-835-5422.
Okay. And there are also, the select board has appointed Melinda as an associate member.
okay.
Actually, it doesn't say associate member on her appointment slip. That's
Says
interesting.
member?
It just says select
Well,
board, virtue authority and us vested and hereby appoint you to the Conservation Commission.
okay, well, that's an error.
Yeah, I'll have to send that back, but in the meantime, I think keeping Melinda on as an associate member is appropriate because she's been such a helpful member for so long. And I'm sure,
Yes.
so
I know
I would call.
she's still active in the Fisk Pond Committee, I hope.
Yes, she is, and she also acts as an advisor to us on occasion.
Yep, okay,
Um,
that's good. That's all good.
So I will get this corrected, but we would have to pay $60 for her to be part of MACC.
I don't know. How does everyone feel about that? Discussion? Rowan?
I have nothing to know about that one. Nope.
You have some kind of budgetary constraint? And
We
and
always
does-
have-
And does Melinda want to become an MACC member?
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't know. We always have a budgetary constraint. I'm always sensitive to expending money that we don't have to, you know?
Yep.
So I don't know what the benefit is to Melinda, because I don't think she's gonna take any workshops or anything, so maybe we should not have her as a member.
Okay, and just keep her on as like an advisor.
Yeah, well, she can be an associate member, but she doesn't have to be an MACC member, can't she?
I don't.
We don't
know.
have, I don't think everybody on the every associate member on the commission doesn't have to be a member of the MACC,
Okay,
right?
cool.
We voted at the last meeting, correct me if I'm wrong, that the 3 voting members and you would be members.
That's
of
correct.
MCC, yeah. So let's just keep it at that unless there's any disagreement from the other commission members.
Nope.
Okay. I just, we owe money, as you know, in Wendell is always a concern. And I know it's only $60, but the lower we can keep our footprint, the better. Next on the agenda, site visit best practices webinar via Zoom, September 7th at noon. Mary, what is this about? Registration required.
I sent around a email from that particular group, which I guess nobody looked at.
I looked at it briefly. I'm just like, really, I'm so busy right now. I want to show you my job list. This is my job list if you want to look at it, but
Okay.
I'm
It's
very,
okay.
very, very busy.
Yeah,
Any day at noon is not a good time for me to do anything other than work.
right. So, I mean, if anybody's interested, I could send them the forms again and
I mean, are you going to do it? Are you interested?
I'm thinking about it.
I mean, if you're interested, do it.
Yeah,
mean, it'd be
exactly.
great.
I just
It would
wanted
be
to
great
let-
if somebody did it and you can bill for your time. So
Oh,
there's
well,
there's no reason you shouldn't be able to. I mean, you're our agent, so
yeah, it
um,
seems to be like it might have some interesting information.
yeah.
And if
I'm-
anybody else cares to join me, or if I decide to do it, which I'm not sure I'm going to do, it depends on what day of the week it is, actually.
Yeah, September 7th. Let's see. That's a Thursday.
There's a little bit of a conflict, but that I could work around that. And so I might learn something and I might not.
Oh, I'm sure you probably will. You know what? I've done a ton of workshops and I've done some ones that I thought were going to be really basic, and I always learn something.
Yeah.
So
Okay. So
they're always-
does anybody else want to get that information? I could send it to you again. Rowan, Trevor.
I did see that in my email, and I am also did 6 hours of firewood today. That's my number one concern here. But
that's great. Yeah, we're in the same boat. We're just loading our firewood now, and it's been sitting out there in the rain for 3 months.
Yeah.
But it's not this winter's, it's the following winter, so that's okay. We
And
usually
Trevor shook his head. So, okay, so much for that.
Okay, so next on the agenda, minutes and mail. So did
Actually, letter of support for the new open space plan.
isn't that the next, isn't that?
I
Items not
put that in
anticipated.
before minutes and mail.
Oh, okay, yep. I'm fine with that letter. Did
Yeah.
everyone read that letter?
I did. It looked perfect. Yep.
I was gonna suggest that we take out some of the adjectives.
Like what?
Oh, where did I put that? Hold on. Enthusiastically supports.
Yeah,
I think just supports is adequate.
I don't disagree with that.
And Wendell has made impressive progress toward achieving the environmental. We have made some progress.
Yeah, it's a bit too laudatory, maybe.
I-
Laudatory, that's the word I'm looking for. Thank you.
Okay, so I make a motion that we approve my signing the letter as amended by Mary.
Upon de-adjectivizing.
Yes,
Second.
okay, motion's been made and seconded. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
I
Rowan.
Trevor.
I Ward, motion passes unanimously. The other item that we looked at, we don't have to vote on that, do we? Because my problem with that was the European invasion. I said European invasion. It may have been an
Yeah,
invasion,
oh, yeah.
but I just thought that was a kind of inflammatory language. Instead of, colonization is usually used instead of invasion. It just seemed like it was, I don't know. But we're not voting on that, so it doesn't matter.
I mean, it's just, it depends on your perspective.
I agree. I'm not disagreeing
you-
with that.
But you're
I'm-
right, that it's colonization is the more standard term that's used.
You know, everybody knows what colonization means, but then when you get invasion, you get into, it might have been an invasion. I'm not saying it was an invasion. I'm
Yeah.
just saying it seems overly inflammatory for, rhetoric. That's all. But,
And
but we,
and
don't-
for the context, I
Oh,
agree.
yeah.
Yeah.
This is the open space plan.
yeah,
But it-
yeah.
That was in the open space plan, right?
Yeah.
That's not in this letter.
No, it's in the other letter that you had
the
us
other letter,
review.
yeah.
Yeah.
It was the handout or whatever it was.
Right,
for
Right.
that.
That was,
So,
caught my
I-
eye as well.
I'm just saying something. We don't have to vote on it. I just thought it was a little bit. I like words that everyone understands and everyone agrees on,
Yep. Okay, so I will amend this letter and bring it to you for your signature.
That sounds good. Okay.
We skipped over the ratification of the emergency certification for.
Oh, that-
street
Well,
repair.
that was because I just saw in the notes, we did that last month. That was my bad for bringing that up.
We did that already?
Yes. Emergency certification for the highway department, Farley, Wendell Depot, and Mormon Hollow Roads. This was, we did it already.
Hey, I wrote that. I should remember.
I know. Well, I'd forgotten too, it all blends
Okay.
together. So
All right.
that has been ratified.
Okay, cool.
And what's amazing is that I gave it like a month time frame, and that those roads got washed out again, you
Yes.
know?
Yes.
So it's been, I hope the summer doesn't continue as it has.
Well, the rain is being awfully hard on my roof.
On your what?
My roof.
What's going on with your roof?
The rain is so hard and pelting that it's starting to pull little bits of my shingles off.
Ooh,
Yeah, that's very scary.
sounds like it's getting time for a shingle roof replacement.
Yeah, I'm thinking metal roof. You'll hear it
Yeah.
from your house.
Yeah. Okay, has everyone read the minutes from July 11th?
Yes.
I have a couple of comments. Do you want to go first?
Let me pull it up here. No, you go ahead.
Okay, on, well, I don't know if your pages are the same, but I've got second page, the heading, informal wetland assessment at 352 New Salem Road. Do you have that, Mary?
Hold on a second. I'm so used to you guys just approving my minutes that I didn't have it pulled up.
Well, I'm not like Timothy. I'm not a nitpicker, but I have a couple.
I'm just killing time while I get it out of my file.
That's fine. I only have one comment that I thought was
Oh, okay.
substantive.
All right, and this is from 7-Eleven. Yes. Okay, I'm ready.
Are you at informal wetland assessment, 352 New Salem Road?
Yep,
Last
Last-
line,
yes,
they will have to file for any digging or building within, it says 50 feet, it should be 100 feet,
okay,
because we have a 100-foot buffer zone. Other than that, everything's fine.
okay. Got it. Rowan?
Yeah, no, I wouldn't have known that difference. I saw no issues with the minutes.
Okay. Trevor?
Apart from that,
Everything else is
Fine.
cool? All right,
Okay, I make a motion that we approve the minutes as amended.
the minutes of July
Oh,
11th.
yes, that's July 11th, 2023.
Seconded.
Motion's made and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Trevor, I.
All right, Rowan.
I Ward. Motion passes. Do we have any mail?
We got a letter from Rich Earth Institute wanting our urine.
What?
They have a project where they're collecting urine for fertilizer, which seems kind of redundant in Wendell. Since most of us can just like use our septic systems.
Well, I also often urinate on my compost pile, so
Yes,
kind of doing that myself.
yes,
They actually are at soliciting urine.
yep.
Are there details provided of how and where and in what manner they're gonna collect that urine? Like, what is this? Is it gonna be like a container down at Rats, like the whoever's doing compost down there?
It's called P-cycling. Mm-hmm. Discussion
Well,
about implementation in Franklin County. Join us to reimagine our waste as a resource and map out a future for circular nutrient economy in the valley.
well, I know it is, the indigenous people there in the Amazon, that's what they did with the charcoal. Urine and feces mixed in, and it made that, it's called terra preta, black earth. It's still, people are farming it now and haven't added fertilizer for like 70 years, and it's still growing crops. So
Well,
It's
there is a question and answer workshop type thing on Zoom this coming Thursday at 7 p.m.
did you send the link out to us?
I did not because this is a hard copy. I don't have a link, but I could do that. I could copy the
I
link.
mean, if anybody's interested, it sounds like it might be somewhat interesting. I think the whole logistics of collection is, it's kind of one of those things that's more appropriate on your own property, I think.
Yeah, that's how it, in Wendell for sure, but if you lived in like downtown Greenfield, it would be different.
Yeah,
It's also a
Yeah.
question of medications that people take or
Absolutely.
supplements.
Yeah.
absolutely. That's a real issue,
Yeah. So
People on-
I'll send this out to people. And go or not go.
Okay, that sounds good.
All right.
Anything else?
No.
Okay. I think the meeting with Mark went as well as could be expected.
I think so too.
So I'm glad Tom is, I feel like I'm trying to find a middle ground between the DP and no filing,
Right.
So
And
Tom, hopefully that'll work out.
Tom, how did you feel about it? He's still with us. Oh, there-
Sorry, I had to do the unmute trick.
Okay,
Well, I want to thank everybody, especially you, Mary, for all your help coordinating this. Thanks for bringing the meeting to my attention. I don't get over to read the side of the building very much. And it was nice of you to send the emails to us. And I
Yeah.
appreciate your position, Ward. I know you said a long time ago that you're going to be caught in the middle of this. And I'm not trying to make it hard for anybody. I wanted to express my history so that people knew I wasn't acting in violation of the law. I was acting with an understanding of what agencies had communicated to us.
no, I appreciate that. And in my opinion, it's a gray area. But the DEP has said what they think. So, as far as I'm concerned, removing sticks to keep the dam from overtopping, I don't see how that's a problem, but that's, again, my personal opinion. But just given the high profile nature of the other project, which I know is not before us, just like to have everything done legally. I don't want to get the DEP. I don't want the DEP to be involved with this,
Right.
Well,
I'd like to handle this in Wendell.
Well, I'll do my best and I'll submit it to you as a draft perhaps, but I think it's pretty simple.
Oh,
And
yeah,
then
should be.
what I don't want to do is get myself in a position where if I turn to the left, I have to file, and if I turn to the right, I have to file.
I agree.
I want a workable arrangement.
Well, and you know what? My suggestion would be to do this dam lowering and also to just put in some language about what you were talking about your normal removal of sticks and stuff. because if we issue a negative determination, we can cover that. It'll only last for 3 years, but it will last for 3 years. You understand
Yeah,
what I'm
that-
saying?
Yeah, that's
So-
what Charles gave us.
Yeah, yeah. So you could file for this dam lowering that water level lowering that you want to do right now, but also for your ongoing maintenance of removal of debris, just say,
Yeah.
you know? And so that way if the commission issues a negative determination, you'd be covered for 3 years. So that's off the table as far as that being a violation.
That would be great.
I mean, I
would be-
think that's the way to handle it since you're filing anyway for the other project. Just throw that in.
Yeah, I'll do my best, and if it's wrong, I can do it over.
Yeah,
Just
absolutely.
mark me up and I'll do it again. And
Okay.
I just
Okay.
want to say thank you again.
Thank you. I appreciate you coming.
Okay, bye-bye now.
Okay.
Yeah,
Do we have
Lynn-
any more
Linda
items?
Regan made a comment in the chat, which I can't seem to open. But Linda, do you want to unmute and make your comment to the
Sure. Hi, Linda Deegan, landowner in house owner in Wendell. My comment was, the urine diversion issue seems like more of an issue for the select board than the Conservation Commission.
Yeah, yeah, I
It's-
agree. I just think, I don't think we're gonna take any action on it. I just think it might be of interest to commission members would be the only thing.
Yeah, I was just suggesting you might want to flip it to the select board to think about too. I mean,
That's-
it is a big issue in cities and
Yeah.
they are, I also own property on the coast where nitrogen delivery to coastal ecosystems is a huge, huge, huge problem. And they're
Yeah.
really pushing these urine diversion issues here because the nitrogen in urine is 80% of the problem in the coast.
Sure,
For, and septic systems don't deal with it. So anyway,
sure.
it's not, I agree, it's not really a big issue in Wendell. The pee on the compost pile is a good idea.
Yeah, thank you.
believe the select board probably got us the same thing we did.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. Okay. Anything else to
Yeah.
discuss?
I have one item to bring before the commission. So my son is interested in becoming an associate member.
Right, yep.
He would like to, as his schedule permits, he would love to come out on site visits, attend meetings just to soak up as much conservation knowledge as he can. So,
I don't think there's any reason why, I guess we should probably take a vote.
I mean, yeah, I didn't know if we had to vote on it or if Ward
I
just
think
appointed as chair.
what's his name?
Kierden,
Kierden, right? I should know
Trevor,
that.
how old is your son?
he's 19.
Okay.
And how do you spell Kierden?
Cirdan.
Okay,
From Tolkien.
That's right.
and his last name is Kearns?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
Ward, I think you're the first person that's got that.
Well, I was a big Tolkien fan in junior high and high school, so still am, but
I'm about
what character was that in Tolkien?
Kierden the shipwright. He's one of the Teleri. I could go on and on about. He's a very old elf
right.
who is kind of in the background, but he's an important character.
Yeah.
Okay, do we need to have Kierden here in order to?
I don't think so. I think we just, why don't I just make a motion that we have Kierden appointed as an associate member, or we request that the select board appoint him as an associate member of the Conservation Commission.
seconded.
Okay, all those in favor?
Trevor, I.
Rowan.
I Ward, motion passes. No, it'd be
Thank you.
great. I mean, we don't have much going on right now, but well, I say hopefully it'll be quiet, but I'm sure we'll have more site visits and stuff where we can, get some on-site knowledge of what goes on.
Thank you.
And
I
as-
wanted. Oh, sorry.
I-
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, and as boring as the meetings are, you learn a lot at the meetings too.
That was the most fiery, exciting one so far.
True. I wanted to add that this morning, Mary sent out an email. It was like an invite. FERCog put together a meeting to discuss like the possibility of a shared conservation commission agent among towns.
Yes, yeah.
And I attended that meeting this morning.
Oh, you did,
And,
great.
yeah, so they're just in initial stages of, there are a couple people from FERCog who are trying to figure out what the need might be and how they could, you know, what kind of duties that agent might have. So they're just trying to find out. I mean, there were people on Concom's there from all the surrounding towns. There are towns that they have like one person on the Concom and they have no agent, they have no secretary, and they're just overwhelmed by the paperwork and all that stuff. So I feel like we're in a good place. Obviously, we've got Mary, we've got a full commission. So I think that Wendell's
Yeah,
in
that's
a bit
that's
of a
why
better
I didn't
place.
respond. We had a joint meeting with Leverett, Shutesbury, and Wendell about coming up with a joint agent. Just because Leverett in particular and Shutesbury had just had trouble retaining agents because it's only part-time, there's no benefits, and the thought was, you know, with 3 towns you could get a full-time position with benefits, but the devil's in the details. How do you divide the hours and how do you, you know, it just.
Yep.
And so Mary wanted to do this position and fortunately I know the regulations and, you know, and that stuff. Whereas a lot of times the commission doesn't know that. So they need an agent who knows the law and the regulations and could do the forms. So we just figured, you know, I can do the forms, Mary can do the advertising and the minutes and we should, you know, for now, I think it works fine with what we have.
Yeah.
At some point, if Mary leaves or I leave, then things might be different. But I'd be interested to see how that's going to evolve because I just don't know how you're going to separate the time between the towns because it's not going to be consistent, you know?
Yeah.
You're going to have some weeks there's going to be a lot of hours and other weeks there's going to be hardly any hours. And how do you divide that up?
It's hard, you know, it's feast or famine with site visits and
Yeah.
whatever's going on in a town. Yeah, sure.
So, well, I appreciate you going there. That's good. So, anything else to discuss? Otherwise, I make a motion, we adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor?
I wrote it.
Aye.
I, Ward. Thank you, everyone, for attending.
Thanks.
Sorry, I
Appreciate-
missed
bye.
last month, guys.
Okay, no big deal. Have a
So
good
you
night,
are-
everyone.
Rowan, you are getting the emails from
Yes.
the, okay,
Seems to have resynced back up. So, and you're not getting any more bounce notices from me?
no.
All right, sounds perfect.
Okay.
Great.
Right. Enjoy your
Thanks
Have a
for
good
dinner.
night,
coming,
everyone.
everybody.
Thanks,
Thank
guys.
Bye.
you, Linda, Tom, Michael.